Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
Welcome back, everybody. The LA Gladiators just pulled off a 4-0 victory over the Shanghai Dragons, and iRemix stepping in, filling the void for Fisher, and looking quite well. Those guys start off the week 1-0. Moving on to our next match, we have the LA Valiant going up against the San Francisco Shock. Another NorCal versus SoCal battle. I hear you out there, Tyler. He is ready for this matchup. Now, the San Francisco Shock, they actually lived up to their name last week. They shocked everybody and took out the LA Gladiators, and right now they got another SoCal team in their sights. But the LA Valiant, so far this stage, are 8-0 on maps. They have not dropped the map so far this stage yet. So this match is going to be quite the grudge match. And we got a lot of Valiant and Shock fans in the house who I know are ready for this thing to get started. So let's go ahead and send it over to Puckett and the boys at the desk.
Thank you so much, Malik. I think there's a rooster in the building. Is our Super Shock fan here today? There he is. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Puckett here at the desk. We got the whole crew at Sideshow reinforced. We're ready for this.
I have to say, me, Josh, and Ben, we've started doing voice coaching and stuff. I'm pretty sure we have to just get voice coaching for the Shock super fans and everything, because I'm worried, man. The season is long. You can't just ruin the voice already.
I think Tyler could teach you. Let's practice off camera. Let's take a look at our stage standings coming into this one. It's San Francisco versus the Valiant. And as we looked at them last week, We saw the Shock starting off pretty strong, catching the Gladiators off guard. They slowed down towards the end of the week, but the Valiant stayed perfect at 8-0.
It is all about the Valiant currently. And looking at their next matchup, they have the San Francisco Shock, the Dallas Fuel, and the Gladiators next week. So they have a legit chance to go up 5-0 this Stage 3. And, I mean, looking forward, even a stage playoff spot, in my opinion. So the Valiant are looking great so far.
They are. Now, the Shock mentioned that they are building for the long run. We heard that at the very beginning of the Overwatch League back in Stage 1. Now they have those pieces they were waiting for. Super and Sinatra have been in the mix towards the end of Stage 2 with Sinatra. Super, of course, coming in for the first time here in Stage 3. But that's not the only two pieces that they've added to this lineup.
Yes, we've got the main man, Architect, who has come over from Korea, inserted into the San Francisco Shock. And for my money, probably the best Genji outside of the Overwatch League. Maybe you'd put Haxal in there or some of the slightly younger guys. But Architect is a great free agent pickup to add to San Francisco because it gives them that ability to play dive as well. Sinatra and Architect are a nasty DPS duo if you want to play like that.
I mean, then you have Dante, of course. His Sombra play has been fantastic this stage. Even the Tracer play. I would like to see Architect and Dante for once. Not maybe even shoving Sinatra away as putting it on the bench for a bit. Because
you're going to put 150k on the bench?
That might happen because Dante is that good, man. I would like to see some aggressive dives coming out with Super on the Winston.
That's an expensive pine. All right, let's talk about the other side of this matchup. Of course, this is the Los Angeles Valiant. They were up in Stage 1. They were down in Stage 2. Currently, back on top here in Stage 3. You saw the undefeated record. They haven't dropped a map yet. And they've made some additions of their own. Space has been in the lineup for this squad, and they've brought in some new support.
Yeah, and the way that LA Valiant were kind of looking before Stage 3, they didn't look too hot. And they are definitely the team that has benefited the most from these mid-season signings. They brought in Space, and it seemed pretty risky. They were putting a lot of faith in this guy. Brought in Custer as well. And this seems to have revamped not just their calling, but their atmosphere. So we have a clip of sounds of the game to be able to hear kind of inside the LA Valiant and see what these new additions have done.
Ben right, soon can you go right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Into the iris.
Come on, point. Oh, nice play. Diva, focus him. Help Karim.
I got him. I got it.
Sombra. Yeah, VMP.
Nice.
Nice,
No
VMP. Then Mura. Nice job, guys. Easy game.
So what I would say there is that Custer's a big addition for their backline. He's, I think, probably more vocal than Unko and Kariv, even though kind of Kariv does contribute to the calls. And then they have Fate being able to call at the front and Space. So that means that even when Fate is hiding as the Winston and can't really see the action, Space can fill in for that. So they have a very vocal team now, and seems like a very positive atmosphere as well between everybody.
Yeah,
all
crucially, Kusta for me is the pillar of this team because you have a very vocal front line. Of course, you have Faith and you have Space communicating on the Winston and Diva. But then you have Kusta in the backline, and he provides so much other things, of course. The Mercy play has been really good from him so far. Lucio, he is improving. It's not up to par with some of the best in the league, but he's getting better at it. And most crucially, this positive attitude and the shot calling overall, that is what the Valiant has needed. And with this new sort of atmosphere in the team, I mean, the momentum they're catching on to right now, that could be huge for them moving forward.
Does the positivity stay if you eventually lose? Because so far it's only been wins,
these are
right?
some positive guys, right? I mean, usually you have a few players who perhaps they don't take losses very well. Of course, losing, it is a struggle. It's a long season, but the Valiant team, they look like some bunch of positive guys. So I think that despite they might lose a few games, I think overall this team will be very positive overall and have a great atmosphere moving forward.
Very important match for both of these teams, but I feel like San Francisco is going to need the win more if they want to get into our Stage 3 playoffs. We'll see. Can they take down both squads from LA? Are you guys ready to start this match? Let's bring out our team. Starting on the left side of our stage, it's the boys from the Bay, the San Francisco Shock. Sinatra coming out first. You see the tanks right behind him. The new main tank and Super, followed by their Diva Nevix. But I think all eyes are going to be on the fourth player today. What is Architect bringing to this lineup?
I think Architect brings a Genji that previously has been unseen by the San Francisco Shock. It does make them perhaps slightly more readable because he doesn't really play the Sombra as far as I know, but I don't know, maybe he's got that hidden away. But I think what it'll do is increase the tempo massively, make the San Francisco Shock a much more aggressive team than we've ever seen from them in the past. And that's how Sinatra and Super like to play.
Yes, exactly. This is one of the most entertaining teams in the league right now because of how they like to take initiative, how fast the tempo is. We know that Super, despite only just turning 18, he is a very aggressive player, likes to shot call, likes to take initiative and dive deep. And now you have a great Genji and Architect being able to back him up. You have a Sinatra on the Tracer who likes to backstab, hit up the supports. So I think overall this team, the dives executed would be much better with Architect.
For everybody that watched Watchpoint, of course, you know they also have a special ingredient, the moth brains, to sprinkle across there in the relish. Keep your eyes on the support. He has really helped this squad up their game. That's the Shock on the left side of your stage. Now it's time to introduce their opponent. Please give it up for the Los Angeles Valiant. 13-9 overall. With the win today, they could jump up to 4th place in the overall standings. And they take the stage today with their shot caller, Fate. We talked about this tank, his importance, now joined by Space. But who's this in the mix, guys? We got a new DPS player today.
We're seeing Bunny actually in the game, and we know him for his Tracer. Does this mean we'll see some Widowmaker coming out of Soon? Soon has been practicing a lot of the Widowmaker in ranked on stream. So I expect going into this next matchup, we see a lot of Tracer, and we see Soon on the Widowmaker.
Yes, and the fact that Bunny and Soon are in here and we're going to Volskaya heavily hints towards that kind of thing. But that does also kind of lock them in because neither of them play the Genji. Bunny, I've never seen him play that, and Soon, it's been a long time since Soon ever tried to play Genji.
Yes, and San Francisco being an aggressive dive team, it's going to be hard to keep that Widowmaker alive unless Space puts on a really good performance. He earned Player of the Match awards last week. Could he do it again today?
Volskaya and Ilios in the map pool today. You heard Mr. X saying he thinks that's going to give this Valiant squad the edge in the best of 5. How do you guys see this one playing out? We go into a game 5 today?
I think that the LA Valiant will be able to lock this one up in the 4 games, but it could be a very close match between the two teams. I think they're both looking a lot better, but LA Valiant would be my choice.
Valiant are favorites, but Shock has some upset potential. Will it be closer than you think?
Tyler! Oh, there's the rooster! Match is set. All 12 players on the stage. Make some noise as we send it to our casters. It's Monty with Doa.
Thank you, Puckett. That's right. We're getting things ready for San Francisco Shock versus LA Valiant. Tyler, I have a tip for you, too, by the way. Hot tea and honey will preserve that voice for a very long time.
For more shouting.
It's important. It's important, man. Trust me. Well, guys, we're going to get started with Volskaya Industries. And this is going to be an interesting one because we've got actually 2 players in these lineups that we haven't seen play in these lineups before. We've got Architect on the San Francisco side, and on the LA Valiant side, Bunny coming in for the first time.
And it's also interesting because both of these teams have historically been very poor on Volskaya. Each of these teams only has 1 win. And we are seeing the Valiant play it for the first time in Stage 2, and they have been fantastic. Their 2 maps on Anubis last week, they full held both of those. So a lot of power here in the assault. We'll hope they can carry it over to Volskaya.
Well, it's important to note, too, that the 1 win that San Francisco has on this map is against the Valiant last stage, too.
Indeed. So very interesting stuff. I am also curious about Bunny. So on point A, we can expect them to run Soon on the Widowmaker and Bunny on the Tracer. But if you go back and you look at Bunny's professional career, when he was on Lunatic High 2, when he was on BK Stars, and you take a look at his actual hero pool, he has never professionally played any hero besides in 10 minutes.
Yep.
That's crazy.
He's
on
a Tracer
3
main.
teams.
He's a Tracer main. He's like the main of Tracer mains. But, you know, if you go way, way back to his first team, there was a tank named Burner who played a mean Zarya on that team, and Bunny and him combined for a lot of really good ult combos. So I want to see Zarya come back, and then I want to see Bunny put bombs on people in the Graviton Surge. That's what I hope in future stages, but not right now. San Francisco Shock on the attack. LA Valiant on the defense here. Architect will be starting out with Sombra for his debut.
And you see him trying to figure out the angle to go in on right there. He is going to be tagged out of his invis by some spam there coming through the choke point.
Yep.
Now, this is typically how San Francisco approaches with Sinatra and Dante on the Sombra on the side. Not going to be the same formation this time.
Yeah, just kind of poking, trying to build up the EMP. A little bit of danger brought Kariv's way here. Zenyatta has to go back to the low ground to join his team. Super down already. Oh, an Architect taken out by Kariv. He turned his back for 1 second. The Zen was ready. There's the res coming in from Moth, though. So San Francisco not done with this push just yet. Architect back on top, trying to find Fate. Fate getting a bit low. Gets to the health pack just in time, though. And Architect trying to translocate out. There's another hack coming in onto the Diva, and that's going to be enough to get the D-Mech onto space. So San Francisco Shock really doing a good job of just grinding this fight out. The people who lived through the initial push survived long enough for the respawns to join them. They took the point.
And San Francisco Shock has been very effective on Volskaya A, despite their poor record on the map overall, and the fact that this was the one map they lost to the LA Gladiators. They were successful both in their first push and in their first time bank push on attack. It was point B that really stymied them. So we'll see if they've improved in that manner so far over the course of the last week. Architect now moving up towards that EMP. Only ult on the tables.
Right.
It's going to be Bunny and Space on the side of the Valiant.
Sinatra on board with him as he comes around. Gets that pulse bomb up. Karib could be in a bit of trouble. Oh, doesn't even need it. Gets the finishing blow. Now Custa running back to spawn. Gets the healing just in time. That leaves his team a bit vulnerable. No healers for the moment for the Valiant, but it doesn't seem to make a big difference. They're coming up with kills anyway, although Sleepy does get rezzed. Shock has to come in slowly. Oh, nice shot from Soon to cap Sinatra and send Shock running.
Yeah, you're going to be fine with that if you're the Shock, though. You're coming up on a Transcendence. Of course, both support ults should be up in the next fight for the Valiant as well. But you don't have to play into the infra site anymore. You can be a bit sneakier, especially with that Sombra, to make sure you get a big EMP.
Right. Architect.
He's on the opposite flank of the rest of his team now.
Yep, get ready. Bunny searching for him. Found him. They're going to go in. It's going to be Custa popping that Valkyrie on the defensive side here. Architect gets the hack, waiting for a chance to use that EMP. A little bit of protection coming in from Nevix. Hack onto Space again. No, it's going to be the self-destruct from Space. Goes right back into it. Luckily, the Winston shield was there. Architect now going in with his team with the Transcendence. Still hasn't popped that EMP. Waiting for the perfect moment here. But they're losing members on the San Francisco side. And yeah, smart decision to hold it there. San Francisco pushing again. Nevix goes ahead and just drops as well. And so San Francisco, they put some into that. They used both support ultimates, but get a lot out of it. Although, well, I suppose they did get a lot of ults out of Valiant after all, now that I look up there.
Yeah, they definitely did. I think they actually overcommitted on that. Sleepy was off the point and used his trance and had to run all the way there to cover Moth while Super was resurrected. So there was a scenario where they could have gotten most of those ults and still been able to come back with 2 support ults on the next push. But Architect can still change this with an EMP if he can hit enough people.
That's the plan, but the dive from the Valiant come in. Bunny has to back up. There's the EMP now. Sleepy taken out early. Bunny grabs 2. A lot of finishing blows coming in for this guy. Architect saved by the defensive matrix for the moment. Nevix chasing Bunny away, but Valiant looking pretty comfortable on that point.
All right, it's time to get off the Sombra now, Doa. This is not going to be the play any longer. They waited for several pushes to get an EMP. They tried to counter a dive with it, but Sleepy had already fallen at the start of that fight. Architect still going on this Sombra right now. I think this is where you swap to the Genji.
I mean, you have 4 minutes, I suppose, to make this work. That is time to build another EMP, but it just didn't look like they had the coordination to kind of make that work last time. So I agree. Pick something like the Genji where you can grab a couple picks on.
Yeah, especially because you're going to be eco-pushing based on the Valiant's superior ult economy.
As soon as you say that, though, Space demeched right away. Soon goes in for the Deadeye, but no kills out of that one. Bunny sticks the pulse bomb. Nevix nearly demeched. Darts away, gets the healing. Does he get enough? No, not quite enough. Pops that self-destruct so we can get the mech back pretty quick. Bunny pours back for the moment. Now the Transcendence coming out for Valiant. Sleepy finds himself in a 1v1 with Bunny, but Bunny low health, has to back away. Does combine with Space for that kill on Moth. So Valiant doing okay. They have given up 1 tick, though. They lose Custa, so Sinatra coming up big for his team, and now the hack comes in from Architect. That is exactly what they needed, and that might be enough to get them the point. If they can just handle the respawn, they are so close.
Yeah, Sleepy gets killed with the pulse bomb, though, so they're going to get 2 ticks out of this, but Bunny will clean it up. There are only 3 members at the end, so the hack ends up pushing Sleepy and Sinatra off the point, but it's just not enough. However, San Francisco Shock are going to be coming back with a lot of ultimates. They forced everything out of the Valiant on that engagement, so this is the push where they can really make it work.
Yep. Valiant only has that self-destruct at the moment. Might be able to build a couple support ultimates. Zen builds his pretty quickly, as we know. Oh, and now they've got more time. Sleepy down early. Can they get the res? Custa taken out. That's an opportunity here. Moth, low health. Got to run away from Bunny. Didn't get a chance to get that resurrection before he was taken out. That's it.
That was just a clutch play from Bunny at the end because he got both of the support players. And had he not picked that up because there was a counter dive going on inside the point, and I think that could have gone in favor of the Shock. But Bunny, we've seen how well he could do on Soul as a solo operating Tracer. He can cut down those supports if he finds those moments to when the tanks aren't around to provide that peel.
That's right. Now we see Soon harassing a little bit as San Francisco resets. Got people looking coming into the middle. Valiant up on the high ground there. Sinatra coming up from behind. Looks for a kill on the Karib, who doesn't get it. Does force the Transcendence, though. Or rather forces the Valkyrie. I'm sorry, out of Moth there. Karib popping the Transcendence. Meanwhile, Architect down. Bunny finding another one. Moth goes for the big res. Brings Architect back up again. They've got their Sombra. Evic's biding his time right now, but they lose Sinatra again. Trying to trap them in there. There's the body block. Oh, but no kill from that self-destruct. It was fun to watch, though. Bunny, meanwhile, finds Sleepy, so it looks like Shock down 1 single tick to go here on point B for them.
I'm just wondering why the Shock are sticking to this Sombra for so long. Certainly she is powerful. Dante has been a fantastic Sombra player for them, but Architect and Super are disconnected from the back line right now, and the combination of Bunny and Fate, rather, is really making it difficult for the back line of the Shock to stay alive.
Yep. Well, Architect with another EMP. That combined with the Transcendence, maybe that's enough for them to grind out that last tick. We'll see. Going in there again, the hack comes out for Architect. Not a whole lot out of that, though. Super down early, in fact. And San Francisco, they use the Transcendence too, and now they lose Sinatra. Yeah, things falling apart in a big way for San Francisco right now.
And meanwhile, though, Bunny is quietly having a fantastic game. He has yet to die on Volskaya. Same with Space. A recall straight out of that one, and they haven't found the answer to stopping him in the back line. He is running rampant.
I mean, there's a reason this guy doesn't ever play any other heroes. He doesn't really need to. Space gets the kill onto Super. Nobody touches the point, and that's going to be Valiant holding point B, only giving up 2 ticks there to San Francisco Shock.
You have to be more flexible with your compositions. You do wonder what the communication right now is like in that team with Architect just joining on. He's, in the past, of course, known for his Genji play, but he's had a high-level McCree as well. And when Bunny is just getting back there and killing Moth and Sleepy over and over and over again, you have to have a different plan because the Shock are getting strung out and they can't make their ultimates have any meaning when their supports are already down or they're using them without any backup.
Yep, absolutely. San Francisco Shock on the defense now, and still a chance to hold this one. At least it's not one of those situations where you didn't get a tick on the second point. That can be a bit scary, but they got 2 ticks. It's not outside the realm of reason for them to hold this and still win the map, but Valiant with a strong start. And yeah, I mean, I feel like that was probably one of the stronger performances we've seen Bunny in the Overwatch League overall.
Yeah, 21 eliminations, 14 final blows, 0 deaths.
Doesn't get much better than that.
It's a fantastic performance, and yeah, there's not much else to say. He's been absolutely dominant on this team. Yeah. So it's nice to see him come back in. But that's always the good thing about Bunny is that he's a player who relies on his own instincts to find those advantages, and you sort of just let him walk off and do his own thing. You don't have to worry about him. He's not as dependent on teamwork. Of course, that can be at least a blessing and a curse, but here at least, considering that he's working with a Korean main tank, they were able to get some nice simultaneous dives in.
Right. You know, I just think the ability to pair him with Soon and go for that Tracer Widowmaker combo that is so strong right now, and having those guys do it, I think that's a huge upgrade for Valiant.
Certainly exciting to watch.
That's a big stat, too. 11 of the 14 final blows for Bunny were on supports. I mean, we kind of saw it in action, but there's the numbers. Bunny making a big difference here for this team already in their first map. San Francisco Shock now going to try to hold this one to win Volskaya Industries. Valiant splitting up a little bit. Bunny on the right side as the team goes left overall.
Interesting that Shock is playing with the Ana instead of the Moira, like we saw them on defense last week. So
Bunny,
they're unwilling to fight in close quarters on this defense and instead trying to play a little bit more passive approach and punish the dive from the Valiant.
Yeah, that's right. Gets hacked, though, Bunny. Having to back away. Can't blink out of it. Down to 0 health. That means you're going back to spawn. Nice sleep dart onto space as well, coming in from Moth.
That was actually great. So the sleep dart onto space prevented space from going and saving Bunny. Bunny's first death of this match after he got hacked from behind by Architect. Yep. You could see in the meantime that Nevix was peeling off to make sure they got that kill during the 6-second hack window, and they are successful. So they're starting to adapt. Finally a kill on the board on the Valiant Tracer.
The key here is to give Soon the room to get some shots here. Has to run away from the dive, gets onto the high ground. Sinatra taking some shots, recalls out of there. Ooh, Super down as well. Sleepy taken out. Moth. Oh, man, that's a shot you got to hit Soon, man. That was presented on a silver platter there, but doesn't look like Valiant's going to come away from this fight without the point either way.
Soon going to reposition here. Try and see if anybody is going to be coming to the point itself. Cut them off before they can make it there, but this will be the Shock surrendering it, not wanting to get in the sightlines of the Widowmaker, and Valiant is going to be coming with 6 ults onto point B. This is an incredible opportunity for them to put Volskaya away.
Man, you are absolutely right. Talk about momentum from these guys. The apocalypse is coming. Bunny already sneaking around.
I mean, this EMP has to be God tier, Doa.
I think so. This pulse bomb could ruin it all. Bunny does get EMP. Oh, he gets a stick onto Sleepy, though. Crucial support kill. Valiant looking to follow up, and man, they do it a big way. Moth and Architect both down. Valiant on the point with nearly everybody. They've got the support. Ultimate's booing them up, but Super trying to just push people back, give his team time to respond. Has to exit, though, and soon finds another one onto Nevix before the remech comes in. Great start, and now the supports and DPS bottled back there. That's 1 tick already. They just need about 80% of the point to win this map. Moth coming in, no health on him. Only so much Anna can do. There's the EMP, but right away, Kareem, he's ready with the Transcendence. The EMP didn't touch him, and Valiant still rolling towards a win here on Volskaya, just a bit more. And with Super going down, who's going to defend this point from San Francisco? Nobody is. And Valiant will take map number 1.
What fantastic patience from Kareem at the end of that map. They knew that EMP was up the entire time. Instead, they saved the Transcendence to make sure they will finish it out. Heads up, ult play, but Valiant were coming in with every opportunity to snowball onto point B, and they took it.
Yeah, that's just one of the benefits of playing that style where you're relying on the Widowmaker picks, and it takes you a little bit longer to take point A, but you're building those supports while you do it. So you kind of come in like a sledgehammer on B, and it works out for Valiant. Only 1 map, though. 3 more to go. Quick break, and we'll be back to see if San Francisco can tie it up. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC display of the Overwatch League.
What a delay from Valiant. They are so close to taking it.
And the Shock have looked good here on offense thus far.
Valiant, can they keep pushing? They think they can.
Baby Bay was quicker on the trigger finger. And of course, Kareev sends it packing.
This is coming down to the wire.
That could get dicey. Wow, that aggression.
Hey, these teams are close.
They were definitely very evenly matched.
And it's a massacre.
It's all over in an absolute flash.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blizzard Esports Arena here in Burbank, California. One game down, LA Valiant on top of that one, but still 3 more maps to play.
I guess I'm really confused by the San Francisco Shock right now, Doa, because we know they like to run the Tracer Sombra combination on Volskaya, which is all fine and dandy and strong right now. We know how good of a Sombra Dante is, but they were literally running the same strats and the same formations with a player who is not fully integrated into this roster and indeed doesn't have the communication skills due to language difference to actually execute it in the same way. To me, if you run Architect, who has now been taken out for Dante, you run him with the heroes that you couldn't play before.
Right. You put him on the Genji.
Or not doing the same thing that we've seen previously, which he is pretty much guaranteed from a teamwork perspective to be worse at.
Sure, and if you kind of look at what Shock's been doing recently, too, they've been having Sinatra kind of flex over to that Genji when they've needed it. But, we know, and I think they would probably know, too, that they'd rather have him play the Tracers. So if you want to do the Tracer Genji, then, give the Architect the Genji. But either way, they stuck with their guns. Didn't work out on Volskaya Industries. That was not a pun because Genji uses swords and shurikens, but I guess it kind of worked out that way. We're going to Blizzard World next. That's right. It's going to be our hybrid map, and we will see if San Francisco Shock is able to tie things up.
Valiant on attack last time. We knew that they like to play that dive. They did play Tracer and Sombra on the defense. It will be a lot of Widow Tracer today. You have to assume, especially with how dominant Bunny was with only that single death and 31 eliminations in that first map on Volskaya.
Yeah, man. Gonna need the holy hand grenade of Antioch to take this guy out.
They're going to need probably several at this stage. How dominant
so.
he's doing. He's more deadly than the Monty Python.
A few for each map. I think Junkrat has those, though, so might be in good shape. San Francisco on the attack here. Going on the side path are Dante and Sinatra. Backing that small health pack on the side.
Yeah, the whole team of the Shock is over there right now, but the Valiant have shown that they're very good about rotating around this objective to keep the Widow long sightline and make it difficult for anyone to reach the point. Dante is going to get carved off on the side. Doesn't have to translocate back.
Soon.
Some crosshairs, but the kill is not secured.
I mean, at half health, that was a golden opportunity for Soon to pick up a pick there, but couldn't finish him off. Meanwhile, Custa in a little bit of trouble, trying to flee from Sinatra, getting low. Bunny finishes off Moth in the meanwhile. Both Mercies down now. But it's San Francisco taking up both supports, and there goes Dante onto Soon. He found that kill. Bunny's still alive, but a lot of his teammates gone, and that point is being taken by Shock right now.
The execution from Shock on these points, like Volskaya A with the Tracer and Sombra, is so good because they're able to divide and conquer effectively. They pull apart the enemy team and force both sides to fight at low range, which of course is going to really advantage the Sombra in this instance because of the hack and the Tracer due to the amount of damage you can put down when you're up close and personal.
So now LA Valiant taking that high ground for their point B defense. This one can get a little bit crazy. There's a lot of flanks to go around. The high ground is there, but it's easy to get up to. It's such a winding path, and then you got that defensive spawn so close to the end of the point.
Yeah, you really do need all the time that you can muster to get to point B. In the bank already will be an EMP. Packs onto the tanks.
Yeah, that's right. Space demeched right away. Super comes up with the kill there. Oh, Nevix demeched as he backs off to the payload. That might be an opportunity for Valiant later. Well, Sinatra waiting for it, just trying to keep the payload where it is. Super with that primal rage. He's going to go back now. Both monkeys aping out right now. Dante down, and it looks like Valiant will hold for the moment.
Another instance of the EMP. It's hard to play against the Widowmaker because you're not really going to capture that many people inside of that EMP. And even if you do, you have to pursue them into open ground. You have to pursue the tanks while you're in range of those Widowmaker shots, as long as those tanks are in line of sight in the first place.
Yeah, very true. Venomine manages to find Dante on the side here, and you get that nice sightline with Widowmaker, but on this point, you really do have to worry about the flanks coming in. Nice shots onto Super, though. Shock trying to go around the left side for the most part, trying to contest the high ground via that stairway that they have over there.
Yeah, mostly just trying to stay behind cover right now until the Impresight is done.
Oh, Moth. Sleepy in a lot of trouble. You're getting the healing from Moth. Bunny will have to back away. Meanwhile, Soon finds a shot on Sinatra onto the side of the fight.
Sinatra's going to die and will force the Shock back right now. They've been sitting on 2 of these support ults for a long time.
Now, Fate's going to get kicked out of the park if he keeps defacing the rides like that.
I don't see any security there, Doa.
Yeah, not yet. All dead. Moth with the Valkyrie. San Francisco just trying to stay in this fight. They're going to send the self-destruct over the top, too. San Francisco committing a lot. Oh, and it pays off. Fate and Custa dropped by Nevix's ultimate, and now that payload's going to move.
Oh, that's actually huge. They can't get a resurrection thanks to Custa dying to the self-destruct. And now they're going to push forward, especially with Dante getting that EMP. Now that they're at the end and the Valiant have to throw bodies onto the cart, this EMP could have massive value.
That's right. Dante is just going to be waiting for everybody to come out with that one. Sinatra has a pulse bomb, too. Yeah, that's right. The charge comes in from Valiant. Sinatra gets the stick. A lot of damage onto Fate. Can they finish him? Oh, the Transcendence comes in, but Fate jumps out. He should be okay either way. Dante, the one who goes down first, and now Sinatra on the run. Kind of backfired a little bit for the San Francisco Shock. They use the EMP, and now the follow-up comes in. Custa, Kareem both down. So without the supports, maybe Shock can push the Valiant out of there.
I mean, we still see Fate, though, with the Primal Rage. He can hold this for a while his team respawns.
That is true. They come back so fast. Maybe that Pulse Bomb can do it. Maybe you want to save it, too.
Fate low, but with the Valkyrie up, it looks like maybe the Valiants are going to take this hold right now.
Moth dropped, though. Now another EMP comes in from San Francisco, and there the kills come in. That's going to nearly get them they're still not there, are they? It's going to nearly get them the point. But Valiant's still striking back. The Nevix, or Nevix gets DMAG, not the Nevix. I suppose he's the only one, but either way, this insane brawl at the end of point B is going the way of Valiant for the moment.
What a hold.
Jeez.
From the Valiant. Great use of their ultimates. Conservation of their ult economy just to make sure they can eke that one out thanks to the late Primal Rage from Fate. That's what started it all right there. That was an avoidable, I think, circumstance, but
an angle you don't expect, though. Nevix found a good one there.
Soon switching to the Mercury right now. He knows that they are going to have to fight up close and personal to the payload. Dante with a little bit of an attempt there at a back cap.
Yep.
Cheeky, but not going to finish the journey of the payload in the end, but it does force the Valiant back.
Good luck doing that again soon. If anybody in this league is going to be watching for people trying to stealth push a payload, it's going to be him. Pulse Bomb doesn't find the stick that Bunny was looking for. Still doing some damage from the outside, though. Valiant camping the payload. It's so close. The self-destruct comes in. Gonna get 2 again, Nevix! How in the world is he catching people like that?
That's incredible. Now both of the supports are down, so here's the Shock's chance. Nevix has opened up 2 huge windows for the Shock.
That should be it, yep. Bunny not quite able to carry it that time. Point B taken by San Francisco. Only about 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, though.
Another one straight up into the sky.
All right,
Soon and Kareem caught in the open. So some mispositioning from the Valiant, but without those 2 self-destructs, I don't think the Shock takes this point at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that was just Nevix sort of blasting his way through there. Now they've got to get it through point C. About 1:20 on the clock to do so. Dante with the EMP, though. Would be crucial if they got it. Now they do have a Transcendence here. Soon zoning with that Deadeye. EMP comes in. Fate down early. Oh, Dante gets caught, though, by the Deadeye. So it's 1 for 1. A 5v5. Transcendence comes in. Can't keep Nevix in his mech, though. A little bit late on that one from Sleepy. And Valiant still at the edge in this fight. Now Fate comes in. He's got that Primal Rage if he starts to get low. Sleepy backing off into that hallway there. Fate down. In fact, both Winstons out of commission. And it looks like San Francisco is going to have to back off. That should be about it.
Yeah, Dante has to translocate out of the fight. They're sitting on a Valkyrie now, the Valiant.
They've got quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, they have quite a bit. And they've got the great stall ultimates, too. These are the ults you want for that fight, but if Sleepy's going to get a damage-boosted headshot onto Soon.
I mean, he finds those long-range picks pretty consistently, actually. Shock is Always happy when that comes in. Now, going to try to fight that 6v5. Bait down early. Sinatra finds a finishing blow.
And there's no resurrection for him this time.
Not this time, no. Now the Deadeye from Pseudo, and he gets super. Self-destruct comes in from Valiant. They're using everything here. Only the Primal Rage remains. Moth gets a chance to get the res. Now the hack comes in. Bunny down early. Shock so close to finishing this one. Soon's Frag Grenade doesn't get any stuns out. Oh, and there are the kills for the San Francisco Shock. They've nearly got it there. And you can handle these respawns, and they do. That is going to be a finish for San Francisco Shock.
If you had told me, Doa, if I couldn't see these team colors, and you told me that the San Francisco Shock was instead the LA Valiant with these overtime pushes, just barely getting them through points B and C, I would believe you.
Yeah. Well, they've certainly been clutch this time, and it's no surprise that after you find that good hack, there's no surprise that we call Dante one of the best Sombras in the game, too.
And here you go, Sleepy working some magic on the tank line at the end. That's a nice way to finish off this map. Beautiful Zenyatta play at range.
You know, I feel like Sleepy, if you get him in a close range one-on-one, you can usually get the kill there, but he is so good at finding these picks when he's not under a ton of pressure.
And that's, I mean, him and Nevix really dragged them over the finish line there, but they do get all 3 points, so.
I mean, you got to give some credit to Dante there, too. I think he had some pretty good EMPs at the end of those points as well. And right away, I think we're noticing a pretty stark contrast between how Dante is working with the Sombra on Shock and how Architect look on Volskaya. And that's not like a huge diss on Architect or anything. I mean, the guy just joined the team, so you don't expect a ton of synergy to be in play just yet. Also, but clearly right now, Dante, the better pick, I would say.
Yeah, at least for the Sombra Tracer strat. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And with Bunny, also, they did a much better job of recognizing his threat, controlling him that game, not letting him run amok. You can see right there, ranks #1 at hero damage, enemies EMP'd, and hacked to Sombra. That should not surprise anybody who's been watching the Overwatch League over the past couple of weeks.
That's right. How does he rate against the hacker known as 4chan, though? That's what I'm wondering. People have been searching for that guy for decades. San Francisco Shock on the defense now. Gonna try to get the hold on Valiant. Point B is usually the place to do it, so we'll see how long they can keep Valiant from getting the payload moving.
And more Widow Tracer from the Valiant, as expected. They're kind of slow push around here. Fate is covering Bunny's approach on the right-hand side. Space is in the middle soon. On the low ground right now, as you can see, looking for an angle onto the point.
Fate just kind of waiting, pondering the meaning of life. Hopping up, getting a view of the action. Now around the corner you come, and so Dante hanging out in Snacks Ramus. Truly full now, I would imagine. Oh, there's a dive on the Super. Super getting a little bit low there, has to back away. Valiant on the point already. Control meter building. Valiant kind of scattered. Soon a little bit low health. Trying to find the picks. Oh, what? Wow. Sinatra. Talk about reactions. Either great reactions or Sinatra just being in the right or the wrong place at the wrong time. Soon gets rezo by Custa. Valiant manages to hold. Wow, what a shot from Soon.
Yeah, covering the health back right there. Dante going to translocate out just to buy slightly more time on the point. San Francisco has a chance here to re-engage before this point is taken, and they're going to go for it.
Yeah, that's right. Super in early, but he needs a little bit more help. Getting the healing from Moth goes down anyway. There's a stick right away on Nevix. Bunny was so ready for this. Nevix demeched, de-lifed as well, and Valiant still able to pretty quickly get the payload moving.
And nobody actually on the point at the end to take it. They did force the Valkyrie out of the Valiant, so the Shock getting something. And we're going to take a replay here of that beauty.
Yeah.
Oh my, that is.
That was just a great predictive flick, I think.
Yeah, he knew that the Tracer was going to be going for the hacked health pack. Decided to play that instead and gets the necessary headshot to one-shot her before she can pick it up.
Valiant pushing their way through point B now. Bunny finds Moth again. It seems like every shot of Bunny we have, he's behind the supports. Dante a little bit low. That time around, taking out the DPS. Waiting for it. They got the Transcendence out of Sleepy as well. Moth under pressure, down. Bunny is just a scourge in this back line.
What I love about Bunny is how easily he seems to one-clip people.
Yeah.
His aim is on point. He knows the distance at which he can get away with these one clips. So you have very small windows of time to deal with him before your supports are dead.
Yeah, hashtag beautiful tracking, right?
Absolutely.
We mean it this time, though. And now Soon trying to cover the respawns with that longer range Widowmaker. You can see most of the doors, but you can't cover everything. We're still finding that shot, though. Super coming in. Forces him back. Primal Rage used.
I don't know about that Primal, though.
It was, I mean, he was so low health when he was mid-dive that he kind of had to use that or die. So kind of a rough situation either way. Bunny, nothing with that pulse bomb. Just kind of dancing around San Francisco Shock right now. Gets hacked. Gets taken down by Dante. Moth with the res there. Valiant still trying to push this one forward. San Francisco a little bit scattered. They've got Nevix in there a little bit on his own. Sinatra finally back again. Coming out of spawn soon. Still relatively untouched. Oh man, the mech right in the way, but there's the immediate D-mech onto Nevix one more time. Hack comes in, Dante with the EMP, but there's not a lot of people around to deliver the damage.
Now they're going to come in and clean this up. Eventually, Space still hacked right now. Costa trying to give him some heals up soon. Waiting for his allies to come back from spawn. Fate and Bunny going to be rejoining them soon. But that initial Valkyrie by Moth was cut down while he was resurrecting Sleepy, so they got no value out of it. And then the Shock had to come in one by one and throw their ults in. Yep. So now Valiant going to be poking for a second here, trying to open up. And Sleepy getting Costa maybe the opening that they need here.
I mean, how many times have we seen this, right? I mean, a fight is just about to begin and then Sleepy kills somebody.
Yeah, and that's actually huge, because if that kill doesn't happen there's a chance for the Valiant to come on through with a big load of ultimates, because they were working that percent up just by healing and chipping away damage from range. Very important.
They're going to come in with 6 ults on this next push, it looks like. Kareev and Space nearly have theirs. Soon just picked up his Infrasight on top of the siege tank, but the turret moves, so it's hard to kind of find those shots. Oh, man, that was close. Bunny trying to just drop the bomb from above. Valiant with a couple kills already, though.
And you got Dante, so that's enough work having been done right now, and Nevix will be the next to fall. D-mech'd. Payload's still moving, though, and with these spawn locations, you can never count this defensive team out. They will have Nevix back.
They might have another shot here. Payload nearly at the end here. Now the delay comes in. They're going to jump on Sleepy right away. Get that Transcendence out. Oh, Moth! So low. Buddy would have definitely killed him if it weren't for the Zenyatta ult. Sleepy a little bit low, though. Going to get finished by Space. Dante on the periphery of the fight. Have to back away. They're going to force back Moth as well. Space runs him down. There's the EMP. Can San Francisco with those respawns get any kills out of it? Doesn't look like at the moment. Now the Transcendence from Kareev. He wasn't touched by the Sombra ultimate. Nevix drops to self-destruct right on top. Pulse bomb comes in, but he blows himself up. But he took Super with him, and the payload gets there anyway.
And the Widowmaker just so much more effective on attack than it is on defense, because you know they have to throw themselves onto the payload. So as long as you don't have pressure and your tanks are trying to pull most of the aggro onto the payload itself, it's basically a shooting gallery, and soon able to push them off the payload enough to make an attempt here at point C.
That's the plan anyway. Valkyrie popped by Moth. Desperation mode now for Shock. Minute 50 for Valiant. They have a little bit more time in the time bank than Shock did when they started point C, and you saw how quick that went. Soon, oh boy, a lot of pressure on this guy from behind. Gets back to the healing. But everybody's trying to kill this Widowmaker right now. Kareev finds Sinatra. Nice shot onto Dante. Both DPS down on the Shock side. Payload getting some room to move. Fate just trying to handle the respawns. And the thing is, once you get the payload kind of around the curve there, you can just sort of sit in those narrow quarters that the respawns come out of and deny people.
Yeah, you also have a great sight line for the Widowmaker from that corner, too, similar to the end of point B, where it's going to be hard for the Shock if they want to actually dissuade Soon from shooting. They have to send somebody back there, and that's easier said than done.
Enough damage was done that Bunny was able to go in and get the finish onto Sleepy. Moth falling too, and Fate just kind of roasting everyone else who remains near the payload. He's still got that Primal Rage even. He's going to use it. Gets Sinatra, catches him in the corner, and they've nearly got the payload. Their self-destruct ensures it, and that is going to be Valiant finishing their attack run.
And they do it with a bit more time remaining. So not an overtime push. So they will get a minute 49 compared to the 1 minute that will be given over to the Shock. Space Now, we talked a lot about Bunny in the first map. He's still doing great, but Space, once again, 3 deaths only so far in this map, and that's been his story so far. He dies very infrequently. He's been an outstanding addition to this Valiant lineup since he began playing on it at the start of Stage 3.
Yeah. Seems to always be in the right place at the right time. And with the D.Va, too, there's a lot of subtlety to playing D.Va well in that, you're not always just chasing after somebody who's weak. You have to pick the right person to defend at the right time. You have to manage those defensive matrix cooldowns really, really well to be an effective D.Va. And Space kind of brings that all together. Which one did you pick? Nexus Experience, the Hellscream, or Nidus Worm Slide?
Nidus Worm Slide sounds gooey.
It does. It
I'm
sounds
going to go
bit
with the
dang.
Hellscream.
The Hellscream? Okay, I'm going to go with the Nexus Experience. Go back to my roots.
Wow, that sounds really boring. You're just like walking around in a Nexus.
Somebody just keeps telling you need more pylons. You need more Vespin gas. For gas, visit Snacks Randus.
Is that what they give you over there?
Maybe. It depends on what you buy. I don't know. Hellscream dog? Might do it. San Francisco Shock on the attack once more.
So now they've switched it up. They want to use the Moira, so it's going to be directly onto the point. All hands onto the point right now, trying to fight at low range, and they're going to punish Bunny.
Yeah, that's right. They jump right onto him. Different strategy coming in from Shock this time around. And they are just going to try to bull rush the point as fast as they possibly can. Nevix does get demeched, trying to keep him alive long enough here as Fate tries to get the kill. Nevix backing off successfully. Rest of Shock having to retreat. Sinatra a little bit alone in the back lines, and there's a dive from Valiant, and that will end it soon. Finding the shots towards the end of that one.
Just casually cleaning up everybody, though. He's got 20 final blows on this map to this point.
I mean, the McCree was a great pick in this situation where you just need to get the hold on point A. San Francisco coming in. They gotta win this fight. And losing Dante does not help. Kareem with a big pick early on. The Deadeye comes in. No kills out of it, but soon rolls forward anyway to try to find a bit more. There goes Nevix. Got the mech, got the pilot inside, and it's gonna be Valiant finishing off the rest of San Francisco Shock. And that should be a full hold, not a tick taken in the time bank round for Shock.
As you say, Doa, I like the swap up into the McCree.
It's really good.
You know that San Francisco is likely going to run the Moira in combination. And what does that mean? Very low range comp that you're trying to get onto the point and brawl it out with. If you can stop that by picking up a nice flashbang to get everybody's grouped up, that can make all the difference. We will take a look at Soon's perspective.
That's right, Soon. I mean, this was when the fight was pretty much over, but nice cleanup there from the McCree. Thanks, Ivan. You just walk behind him, and it's target practice at that point. Why not? Like shooting fish in a barrel.
It definitely was. There are no fish heroes in this game yet, though.
Not yet. Maybe someday. Have like a fish with arms and like a little fishbowl on his head so we can still breathe. Could see that. They would need to put swimming in the game, though. Right now, if you fall in the water, you just instantly die. Water is very dangerous in the future.
Maybe that's the fish guy's passive.
Maybe. He can swim?
He can swim.
He just goes around the edge of Volskaya. Wouldn't be bad on a new Venice map, maybe. Work out. Well, San Francisco Shock with a big task ahead of them. They cannot allow LA Valiant to take a single tick if they want a chance to tie this series up right now. Valiant with a good chance to start this with a 2-0.
Nevix scouting the composition. See a little bit of a damage boost there.
Yeah, I suppose.
Soon, and so they are going to run the McCree, thinking that they have the Shock's number.
I suppose right now Shock just looking for a tie out of this map. Can't win it. Can get the tie at least. Meanwhile, rotating around the outside.
It's a slow flank. They don't know Super's above them right now.
That's right. You can take your time with your Valiant. Oh, wow. Great flashbang right on the Super, doing a ton of damage with that Fan the Hammer. Soon so ready. This guy's just been unleashed on the McCree on this map.
He's going to try it for the long flank around the side while his tanks are on the point itself.
Yep. Another couple of kills for Valiant. It's looking pretty good. Yep, there we go. LA Valiant jumping out to a 2-0 lead in this series over San Francisco Shock.
That looked like a miscommunication from the Shock. Super was hiding above on the high ground and ended up somehow by himself targeting Custa. So needed some support there from his DPS or from his Diva. Couldn't get it, and so just gets hit by the flashbang and the fan to hammer.
I mean, it looked like the real Fargo Deep Mine from World of Warcraft. You're in there by yourself and you're surrounded by enemies. You don't last long. It wasn't kobolds this time, but the LA Valiant just as deadly. We're going to go to a break, guys. And when we come back, it's going to be halftime. We will see if San Francisco Shock can get some momentum going. Maybe go for the reverse sweep. We will see then. See you later.
Point. I push. Monkey. Nice. Diva. Chase. Nice.
Sombra might be coming cut.
Lucio. Nice.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
It's been a very entertaining two maps between our Cali squads, but after the half, it's all Valiant up 2-0 over the San Francisco Shock. Welcome back, everybody. It's Puckett and the boys at the desk. We got the whole crew with Sideshow and Reinforce joining us once again. Fellas, pretty entertaining series. We're seeing some new faces in the mix with Architect playing for the San Francisco Shock, but also the Valiant putting Bunny into play today. But when we saw Volskaya Industries as map number one, we knew one thing for sure. That meant Sombra was going to be into action. We saw it from both teams. And Johnny, Talk me through, as an analyst, what were you seeing from our teams with this character?
I saw a lot of things. I'm going to break up this matchup and see. And usually we keep it kind of beginner level stuff, but we're going to go a bit more in depth this time. And so stay a while and listen, and I'll talk you through it. Okay.
Get your diamond hats on, kids. Let's go.
Let's go into insights powered by Intel here, of course. And so what we see from the Valiant is we see a McCree, right? So there's a bit passive, and so they're going to play around these sort of areas, pretty far back, and they want to be able to utilize this McCree. Now, the Shock, they're playing a Sombra, so they're going to use this Sombra to contest the point around here. And this is the area that the Shock are shutting down from Faith and Space, because Space and Faith, they would just like to walk forward onto this point and contest the objective, right? Then they buy time for Soon and company. But because of this Tracer and this Sombra playing so far forward, Faith and Space, they will have no time whatsoever to actually contest this point. And instead, we're going to see that Faith, he's forced to make these massive leaps onto San Francisco's side of things. So this is going to be San Francisco space, and this is going to be San Francisco space. So you can see that they have their each own space. Yep. There's a contested point in the middle. So as we play this thing out, we will see that because of Faith and Space contesting the point, Space will get hacked, and he will get out of his mech. So, and Faith will make this huge leap into the backline of Shock. So this is really hard for the tanks of the Valiant to deal with, right? There's a lot of awkward jumps here, and as a result, Space is going to get out of his mech. Faith is going to actually be forced to prop his Primal Rage here and actually go down in the end. Now, there's a missing ingredient here. Why are the Valiant winning? And it is because of... actually because of Bunny. And he is uncontested here in the backline. He's shooting the Mercy and the Zenyatta of the San Francisco Shock. Only because Sinatra and Architect, they're so focused on the tanks and the backline of the Valiant, so Bunny is completely uncontested. And that's why Bunny has so much room to hit 11 out of 14 final blows on the supports of the San Francisco Shock. So this is the reason that we're seeing the Valiant win so far. Bunny is uncontested, but Faith and Space are completely shut down. So you can see that in the end, the San Francisco Shock, they win the tank battle.
Okay.
And as a result, they have a lot of pressure on the objective. We see them cap and such. But because they're not dealing with Bunny, that is why the Valiant are winning so far this match.
Are you just banking on your Zenyatta hitting headshots and clutching up in that moment? How do you split your team so much and still protect the backline?
Well, it's going to be hard, right? I don't have a solid answer for you. Maybe Super, since he's not dealing with the tanks, Super is playing a bit more passive. He's playing around corners. Maybe he can actually poke with Bunny a little bit and get him away from there. Otherwise, it looks like they're just leaving Sleepy up to it so far.
Let's take a look at our Sombra comparisons. As we saw in this matchup, Architect was in the lineup instead of Dante. Sideshow, we asked our stats wizard, Captain Planet, let us know, how do these two guys compare on Volskaya? If you look at the EMPs, pretty close. Hack the same thing. Where's the difference between these two players?
The difference is in the follow-up from the rest of the team and in how Architect presumably is communicating to the rest of the team, or they're communicating with him. There's something going wrong here in terms of how they're following up on these hacks. Because as you were saying, enemies hacked 18.1 against 18.4. This is a very similar level. But the actual final blows that Architect's able to get miles away from where Dante is, the death's higher as well. So I think the issue is more around how they're playing around Architect. And to be honest, this doesn't make much sense to me. Why are you putting Architect into the lineup and playing him solely on Sombra when he has such a good Genji to offer, and you already have a Sombra specialist? So maybe this is just a process of integration for the San Francisco Shock, trying to get their new guy into the lineup, but I don't really like this idea. If you're going to play Sombra, you might as well play Dante. Let Architect go wild on the Genji if you want to run him.
Yeah, maybe he provides a little bit more flexibility. Something was working in practice. Clearly here, when you watch them back-to-back games, it looked like Dante still has that edge when it comes to the Sombra role. Let's take a look at Blizzard World, though, because this is where I thought, wow, the Shock just got all 3 points. They could win this game. When we were watching this game through, though, what were you seeing, Josh, here in the second map?
Well, to relay it back to Johnny's point, they started shutting down Bunny. Bunny went 14-0 on the first attack of Volskaya, 11 of those kills on supports, and this time he was punished a little more for it. Went 15 for 9 overall, so still pretty good from Bunny, with 8 kills on supports, but 5 of those deaths were to Sinatra. So Sinatra is really trying to shut him down, but the peel is either not coming at quite the right time or a little too late, because Bunny's still getting away with a little little too much for my liking. So they're not quite being able to peel, but it's an overall a better look for Sentinel.
And while we saw Bunny on the Tracer, it seems Soon is going to be playing every other hit scan. When we say a hit scan, that means where they point, as soon as they press the trigger, that bullet's connecting. So that's the Widowmaker, you see the Tracer, McCree's coming out here, as well as the Sombra from Soon. What do you like about Soon's gameplay so far? I was thinking he might slow down not being able to play Tracer.
Well, his hit scan game looks really on point, and especially on the Blizzard world, because there's a lot more close corners. It's easier to play this character, right? Because it's easier to hit the flashbangs onto Bunny, etc. Whereas on Volskaya, we saw earlier, then it's a bit harder for Soon because there's so much open area, and it's harder to actually get close to the enemy team and deal that damage. So I think that Blizzard world soon just popped off, much due to the map design.
I have to ask you, Josh, do you think Seoul is regretting releasing Bunny right now? And if you're the Valiant, you're seeing the success against the Shock. Is this your new starting six? Is this the six-man team you keep moving into games 3 and 4?
It reminds me of Philadelphia, actually, when they've got Carpe and Snillo playing together. But there's one big key there, is that neither Soon nor Bunny play the Genji. And so you can't go back to Genji Tracer at any point if you want to play more aggressive. So I don't think this is going to be the starting roster they run on every single map. But for maps where Widowmaker or the McCree are really powerful, yes, I think this is your new starting roster.
Well, Blizzard World, we know this is the map players have the least amount of game time on, and the Shock, they're slowly starting to figure out how to play against Bunny in the lineup. Will the Valiant show us Bunny in the second half? We'll have to find out. That's going to do it for our halftime coverage. Remember, though, Twitch All Access Pass is live right now. If you want the best way to watch the Overwatch League, get it right now. It's free through the end of Stage 3. Coming up next, when we return, we got a big map on Ilios. You don't want to miss it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
That is 10 maps in a row for the LA Valiant as they take a 2-0 lead over the San Francisco Shock. And guys, some of the plays in this game have been nuts. Soon sniping Tracer out of a blink. Crazy. That's craziness. How does he do it? What does he eat in the morning? Is it Wheaties? In and out? I don't know. Either way, I am here for it. Speaking of being here for it, you guys should join us here at the Blizzard Arena. Anybody who is in the LA area, there are tickets available on Access.com. And yeah, be a part of the most attractive crowd in esports. Come join us here at the Blizzard Arena and have a good time. Anyways, guys, we got a whole nother half left to go. San Francisco Shock, can they pull off the reverse sweep? Let's find out now. Send it over to our casters, Monty and Dora.
Thanks, Malik. That's right. Going into game number 3 between San Francisco Shock and LA Valiant. Right now, Valiant up 2-0 over the Shock, but maybe they can turn it around on Ilios. What do you think?
I don't know, Noah. I think it's going to be interesting. We do have some substitutes coming in for this match. It will be Architect back in on the side of the San Francisco Shock, and Agility's coming back in on the side of the LA Valiant to be partnered up there with Soon.
Yeah.
Makes sense. He did play Farah the last time we saw him on Ilios, and of course, also has the Roadhog, which they like to pull out on Ruins occasionally.
Yep, that's right. Architect back in for Dante. Another opportunity to pull out that Genji possibly. The Sombra working out okay, but obviously some coordination issues to be developed on that team with such a new addition. But nice thing about control maps is that to a certain extent it is kind of just a big death match, right? So you don't necessarily need as tight team coordination as you do on some of these other ones.
That's true, but at the same time, Doa, Sombra is a hero in Overwatch that requires a lot of communication to alert your teammates who is hacked when your EMP's coming.
So play the Genji.
So play the Genji or something else at the very least.
Maybe the Roadhog?
Maybe the Roadhog here instead. I'd like to see something different from the San Francisco Shock. If you want to play Sombra, it makes a lot more sense to run Dante, but that's not what they're going to do.
I was excited for the possibility of maybe like quad tank, triple tank here, but no, it's going to be the Sombra Tracer again. Moth on the Lucio, Sleepy on the Moira this time, though. We do see Shock do this pretty frequently. This has kind of become the standard on a lot of control maps anyway.
Yeah, San Francisco Shock really like to run this on Ilios. Valiant falling back on an old composition with Farah here on Well. So nothing new from these two teams, but why would you do something new right now if you're Valiant? You are handily winning.
Hey man, things are working. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Super really low, and there's a kill for Soon. Got to finish that one off. Pushing away Moth on top, Sleepy a little bit separated from the rest of his team. He does get the finishing blow onto Space. But he's kind of on his own a little bit there. Just him and Architect. Sinatra in the back. It's going to be a while until Super gets back there, and that's going to be Valiant probably taking the point first. Shock made them wait a bit for it, but they will hold it now.
Architect with the late stagger as well, so long fight finally flips the point over for the Valiant, but they're not going to have a chance. The Shock to re-engage here for a few more seconds. Architect now sprinting back out to join the rest of his teammates. And they are going to stick with the Sombra Tracer combination. Agility's floating well above the fray.
It's a bold position, though, for him. Oh, my gosh. Architect goes for the hack on the health pack. Now the Pulse Bomb comes in. They nearly got Moth with that. That barrage with Agility is a bit of an optimistic one as everyone is able to get into cover there. Sinatra down, though. A lot of low health members on the Shock side. It's going to be the Coalescence coming in from Moira to try to just keep the remainder members of Shock up, but they've lost a couple already. And with Moth down, it's going to be tough. Agility's hacked, but luckily hacked, so he ended up on the high ground.
I mean, he doesn't actually care if he's hacked right there or not, because his entire purpose is just to keep people in that room. And Valiant were sandwiching them with Farah on one side and Tracer on the other. So no way to escape, and constantly getting poked by the Farah rockets. So that's a lot of time the Valiant gained just by containing the Shock within that space.
Yeah, if your Agility's the only place you really don't want to be hacked is right above the well. Avoid that one. Oh, and you want to avoid that self-destruct as well. So Agility's barely gets out of range. Or it comes kind of just around the corner there anyway. Shock diving in to try to take the point back now. They've got a few DPS on the back lines, kind of waiting for that chance to EMP. Architect low health, though. Is he going to get a chance for it? Trying to hunt down Architect right now is Space. The EMP comes in, but Shock also has that sound barrier as well. Agility is batted out of the air as he tries to use the barrage, and Shock actually coming up big in this fight. They are going to recap the point.
Yes, they are, but they had to all in to do it. Sound barrier straight into the EMP.
So you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, so they have to dump everything as it climbs toward 90%. You have to do it because of the time, but that means Valiant, they only have to win really one fight here. They've got a pulse bomb and a coalescence on the side of the Shock that may not be enough with the sound barrier in Custa's pocket.
That coalescence getting used immediately by Sleepy, just directing that up in the air at Agilities for a moment after waiting. So you go, no, that pulse bomb did not go where we wanted it to.
And that's it. That's the ults on the side of the Shock.
Yep, pretty much.
They had to get something of value there because now the Valiant can just run in with this sound barrier.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Sound barrier comes in. Shock tries to go for the counter dive, but they lose Moth right away. And Valiant already zoning the San Francisco team out of that. There goes Super. And Valiant on their way to recapping this point and getting a lead here on Ilios. Nearly have it. There's the flip. And Nevix popping that self-destruct, but I don't think he's going to get back into his mech, rather. Nope. Soon with a shot to the neck to take him down. And overtime ticking away already. Valiant nearly has this one. San Francisco scrambling. Architect on the point. They're just trying to delay it as long as they possibly can. But they've still got more ult to spare. Kareev with that Valkyrie keeping everybody healthy. That's Sinatra going for a swim in the well. And that's going to be the round ending with Valiant coming out on top.
I do like how the Shock at least tried to play aggressively there with the Coalescence and the Pulse Bomb. You know what situation you're in. It was a Hail Mary play.
Sure.
So if you can delay them just a little bit, maybe there's a chance another one of your ults comes online. Maybe the enemy will make a mistake in the face of your aggression. It will be punished. But it does look silly when it doesn't work because all of a sudden Valiant are there. Everybody has a sound barrier and you just get rolled.
I mean, it is important to look at the context, too, like you said, though. I mean, what else do you do if you're Shock in that position? You can't really blame them.
Honestly, it shows that they had a great idea of which ultimates were available and how much of a disadvantage they were at to try that play and hope that something stuck.
On to Lighthouse we go. Valiant to win here. Could win them the series as well as the map. Shock may have to kind of hit the panic button here. They need to come up big, and they need to do it 2 rounds in a row to stay in this match.
It's going to keep being the Sombra Tracer, and Agilities was free-firing for most of last map. Hardly any interference run up in the sky.
Yep.
So why change it now? Another map where you can work with the Pharah, and they've been controlling zones so well throughout this match.
I mean, Moth just peeled off from the rest of his team and stopped flat by space in a hurry. Sinatra not able to do a lot on his own there. Shock on the point, but Valiant already cleaning it out. Sleepy gets the kill on a Custa, I suppose, but it's still mostly Valiant on that one. Moth back in the fray now. Sinatra on his way here, soon down. An opportunity here as the res comes in on Custa, but Agilities with a big 2-man barrage, or rather a mech and a Nevix instead out of that Pharah ultimate, and that's going to be Valiant getting the control percent going.
And Agilities, there's nothing to stop him. He's going mad right now. He has 37% of his team's damage as it stands.
I mean, who's going to touch him at this point? I mean, look at that composition from Shock. You can't really do a lot against the Pharah.
No, you can't, and especially not because the way you deal with it is to ignore the Pharah and to play on the point. But when you can't force the Pharah onto the low ground because you're taking so much damage approaching the point.
Well, Valiant now just kind of letting Shock walk in and take it. I don't think they were expecting the speed that Shock went in there with, and so now Valiant on the outside looking in for the moment, but they do get an early kill onto Super, and there's the EMP from Architect to try to counter the aggression from Valiant. Looks like they'll be able to hold it for now. Yeah, I think it's going to be Agility sneaking around the side. Doesn't want to reset just yet.
He's going to just try and buy a little bit more time. Maybe charge up his ult, but that's the way you want to do it if you're the Shock.
Yeah.
Zoom in there, try and ignore the Pharah as best as you are able, and then force them to come to you.
I think a little bit of an error there by Valiant to kind of let that happen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing that it gave is Shock a ton of free control percentage.
Yeah, they've got the lead now. Here on Lighthouse, the dive coming in from Valiant, though they want that point back again. Coalescence, a lot of damage onto Kareev. He's in big trouble here. Can't get away. There's a kill for Super, and he's going to pop that Primal Rage, nearly boofed off the edge. But he'll survive to push Valiant back out of the point again. Agilities at the barrage, though, finds him, and the Valiant DPS striking back now. Custa really low, and he's going to go down. Kind of bounced off the edge there, I think, but Moth not able to do much against this barrage, or against this Pharah, rather. And once again, its agility's looking nigh untouchable on this hero.
And Nevic's still alive somehow. It does finally go down at the end. However, that's just going to be the percent starting to build up now for the Valiant, and Super still attempting to contest.
Yeah, kind of doing it on his own for the moment, though. Only has the healing from Moth on that point. It's keeping him up for the moment, though. Super still there. Shock backed into a corner. Everybody nearly booped off again there. Cussa does get sleepy. He does get the boop onto the Moira at least, and now that's going to be Valiant taking this fight in a hurry.
They still got some stalling left over. We'll see if the self-destruct is used here by Nevix. Yes, it will be. He's going to try and remake. Doesn't get it.
Maybe if he would have been able to get back in the mech, it would have been worth it, but he was on his own. It's so easy to focus you at that point, you know?
Yeah, there was nobody else there to help him stall, so using the self-destruct, there was no way that you were going to lose off of that one push. I think you definitely saved that. You want that self-destruct back for later on, especially with Sinatra.
I mean,
dying.
It's agilities again, you know?
I mean, the damage-boosted rocket can one-shot you with a body shot if you're a Tracer, so you find that one, feels sort of bad, feels sort of unlucky.
Yeah, and now you've got Valiant a bit farther up now. Soon is actually tangling with people near spawn. While we watch this, another barrage comes in, and nobody can touch agilities well until Sinatra does, but he did manage to get the kill on the Architect at least. Sound barriers coming in. Moth doesn't quite have his just yet. Fate with the kill on the Nevix. Again, and now 99%. Valiant on the verge of taking this series. Sinatra trying to keep his team alive, but everybody back in that hallway now. And yeah, with Sinatra finally going down to the Diva missiles, there's not a whole lot I think that Sleepy can do. Maybe just delay it for another second. I guess it's long enough for Super to get back in. He's got the Primal Rage, and with Nevix there, can they hold on until the rest of the team gets there? The sound barrier from Moth comes in.
Now you have the new mech, though, via the self-destruct. And even though soon will fall to the Primal Rage, Valiant still looking to deal with this. Sinatra has switched over to the Doomfist. It was Doomfist versus Doomfist there briefly.
I mean, he punched Fate off the edge of the map there, so San Francisco actually somehow, some way, coming back a little bit in this fight. Sinatra being kept up by that Moira, who's crucial. Oh, and agilities hit with the other Doomfist there. Sinatra got the meteor strike so fast, that's insane. Finds Custa with it too, and Sinatra's Doomfist is what Shock is going to use to take this point back. Are you kidding me?
What a great play from Sinatra. Wow. We had two players, Agilities and Sinatra, both racing back to the point on the Doomfist, but Sinatra manages to make it work in the end, gets the kills they need. However, Valiants are coming in. They have the Valkyrie right now and the Primal Rage. Super about to match Sleepy, wants to use the Coalescence early.
Valiant charging in a hurry. That Valkyrie did come out pretty early, though. I'm trying to get in there. It's going to be 99-99. Sinatra's still on the point. Oh, double kill, though, for space, and that self-destruct somehow managed to find two, and that is exactly what Valiant needs to take this point back again. Super delaying for as long as he can. He got two with the Primal Rage.
Architect's still here on the Tracer, but it's not going to be enough, Noah. They are going to flip it, and now Moth bouncing his way.
Can't get in there. That's going to be Valiant taking Ilios with a 2-0. It was a close 2-0 towards the end there, but that'll do it. Man, right at the end when Super got those two kills, I'm like, oh, seen it before.
Seen it before, but Valiant, Noah, they have yet to lose a map in Stage 3 thus far.
I mean, the thing to consider, too, is that in the Overwatch League regular season, they've only taken one map off of the Valiant total. It's been a tough matchup for them, and it looks like it's going to be the same way today. 3-0 already for Valiant. They've won the series. We'll see if Shock can at least get a map win when we come back after this. Don't go anywhere. This is the Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Let's get it.
We got a packed house here in the Blizzard Arena.
It's time.
Soup takes it out. Gamsu going to go primal raid. Kobe comes in.
4K, more hydration.
And now Jester can go to town. Libero getting all the kills right now. It's crunch time.
They need to be ready to bring out the A game.
They've got such incredible talent in this roster, and they are not holding back.
Oh, here we go. Who would have thought this would be so close? No way. Yes, it's happening. All the good stuff.
What's up? Welcome back, everyone. At the end of halftime, I got to talk to the coaches from the Valiant team, and we talked a little bit about their Stage 3 performance. They were one of the teams which I would say went through the most changes coming into this stage. And the coaches were happy to inform me that all those changes have been for the better. The communication is great. Their player attitude is absolutely fantastic. They added versatility into their roster, and so far it's absolutely been showing here on this very stage. The coaches said that they're confident that they're going to make the Stage 3 playoffs. So here is a promise to all our Valiant fans out there. But first, let's see if they can make it a clean sweep on map number 4. So for all the action, we're heading back to our casters.
Thank you, Zoe. I think it's been a pretty awesome start for Valiant. I mean, with the way things are going, I would not be surprised to see a 4-0 here. That would make 3 match wins in a row to start out Stage 3. Really can't ask for anything more.
And shutouts, too. So 12 maps. And if you think about it, if the Valiant are able to take their first 3 matches in such demand, or basically dominating fashion, the thing is you only really need about 7-3 to make stage playoffs. So they can go just a little above 50% for the rest of the stage and still have a pretty good shot at making it.
Yeah, not bad at all. So we do have another substitution coming in for LA Valiant. Bunny back in for agilities as we look forward to Route 66 and see if Valiant can get the shutout.
And this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. This map is dominated by Tracer and Widowmaker play. In the current meta, it's something you can run all the way through attack and defense.
Yep.
So, given what we've already seen, certainly makes a lot of sense that the Valiant would be opting into this. And Bunny has been spectacular against the San Francisco Shock.
It's pretty exciting going forward for the Valiant that, you've already got those 2 wins in the first week of the regular season. Now you debut this in week number 2 of Stage 3, and you've got the Bunny Soon combo from now on.
Well, I like the way the Valiant are doing things, too. They stuck with the Agilities core roster with these 5 players in Agilities throughout the first week, just to make sure they weren't introducing too many X factors all at the same time, especially with potentially some language barrier issues. But players differ